What's up, everybody? It is week 8, day 2 of the LCS with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm joined right now by Cody Sun, fresh off of their victory against FlyQuest. I just had a chance to watch on my screen. Cody, it seems as though things have been kind of up in the air for 100 Thieves. FlyQuest kind of in a similar situation, but what really allowed you guys to win out in that game?
Um, I think that last game was a really important match for us for the standings in terms of actually trying to make playoffs for us. So I think, given the situation, everyone actually was pretty focused for the match today. And yeah, I think we were able to just play as a team and find some early advantages to just snowball the win.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk to me about that level 1, which I think was very interesting. I don't know how easy it is for you to recall and have an understanding of it now, but I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, so the level 1, because we're stronger top side, we wanted to invade their red buff. And we were actually pretty surprised with the way that they reacted, which is like sort of sending 5 people there to try to stop us, which isn't really standard by any means. So we were able to get a ward on their blue, and then I don't know what exactly happened top, because I wasn't looking and I was more focused on bot lane, but um, their bot lane got like Omega far behind for that, and Ignar kind of just ran into Stun's Nautilus and just got chunked to like 1 HP or something. And then, yeah, so bot lane was over, and then I think Someday died or something level 1, and then somehow he was still up 100 CS at the end of the game, so uh, yeah, that was kind of what happened level 1.
What what went on in comms whenever that ended up happening? Because I saw some people joking on Twitter about how normally that's when you type in a scrim like remake same draft or whatever into the chat. So I'm curious if it was just a situation where you guys knew that you had this big advantage at that point.
Yeah, so um we were just like really surprised with the way they were playing. I do think like it felt like we were taking the game like a bit more seriously than them, and it felt like they were like playing it like it was an actual NA scrim. So um we were just pretty caught off guard, but we really wanted to win, considering that like I think the game yesterday was really winnable by us as well, where we kind of threw the game. So I think everyone was pretty like pretty set back from the loss yesterday. So we wanted to really try our hardest to be focused for the game today.
Yeah, what do you think went wrong in the match yesterday? Because I didn't have a chance to talk to anybody from 100 Thieves.
hmm Um, well, for the game yesterday, Cloud9 picked, I guess, a more experimental draft, considering like they're already guaranteed first place,
Yeah.
and they wanted to kind of test their limits on how much further they can push their own strategies. And for us, because that game was also a very important game for us for the standings, we picked a really like hard scaling standard comp, and um, I think we actually made some really good early game plays with considering the draft. So we were able to hold the game, I would say, in like the late game, kind of like 30-minute point, where once we were gonna get the masterwork items coming in, we were gonna be at a much favorable position in terms of the game state. But we ended up kind of just like doing the classic NA RAM and then throwing the game, which I was actually really sad by it. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, stuff like that happens. You just have to learn from those kind of mistakes, and I think today we were able to show a much more like consistent performance.
Well, what has it been like for 100 Thieves playing at home? Because I think I've talked to maybe about almost every team now. Maybe not TSM, but I think almost all of them. And it does, like, everybody is playing at home. I thought that there was, I'd heard some rumors that some people were going to the offices to scrim or were potentially planning on playing in the office at least if they were going to play remote. But everyone I'm talking to is in a bedroom somewhere. So, what is it like for 100 Thieves playing from home, and what led you to this situation?
Uh, yeah, so I think every out of everyone in our team, I was probably personally more affected by the hysteria around like um, the virus. And I think I just like I was pretty focused on like the news and like social media on like what everything what that was happening. And um for our team we reacted pretty like fast in terms of like just sending, people home in terms of the 100 Thieves Cash App compound. We were pretty swift on like taking the correct measures to make sure that everyone was safe. But I think my like mentality was pretty distraught just because like I wasn't really even sure that, LCS was gonna keep going, especially after the break. So um I think yeah, I saw like one um I saw a really important like advice, which is just like, try to stay away from the news because I think especially with, social media and the news these days, everyone or everything becomes like so like blown out of proportion and really like trying to like instill fear in everyone. So yeah, I'm doing a lot better now. I'm pretty happy that LCS is back and even though it's remote and it's definitely not as like exciting compared to playing in the studio. Um, I still have a lot of fun like playing the game and like um, practicing and playing the game from home.
Yeah. Why do you think it was that you were so affected? You were actually really concerned, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just I usually don't even like watch too much or pay too much attention with the news. I usually don't even like use social media that much, but um, like with the virus happening in like other areas in the world and coming to LA, coming to US, um, I guess I had like a lot more info on like the actual situation, and I was like I was kind of like just because I feel like because I had more info because I read more articles, it like made it worse for me just because like even though those it's like it's almost like the more information you know is the more like I guess affected you are
Yeah,
by it. So yeah.
that's true. Hey, I do want to ask you something that has come up in all the other interviews I've been doing. I know that there was a vote with the Players Association around whether or not to continue the spring split or and have people play remotely or to just cancel the spring split. And my understanding is that somewhere between half to two-thirds, a little less than two-thirds, voted to cancel the spring split. Uh, now that you're playing this weekend and sort of reflecting on that vote, what do you think of that? Should it not have continued? Do you have strong feelings on that? Was it surprising that so many people voted that way? I don't know. Any thoughts you have on it?
Um, yeah, I think for whether or not we should continue, I think it depends on the fact that like, how well produced LCS can be from remote. I think, you know, if if the fact that like I feel like there's a really like small chance that anyone is gonna cheat like just from home and Riot's taking like pretty good like measures on making sure that we don't like do anything illegal or anything like that. But I feel like with the fact that like there's only 2 more weeks for the split, I'm kind of just down to just finish it, just because like I mean I would just personally be really sad if the whole thing was canceled for like an indefinite period of time,
Yeah.
because yeah, I think it's unfair to like all the teams that um that played so well during the split, like Cloud9 for example, or even like FlyQuest. Um and it would just be pretty weird to like start back up again. Um so yeah, personally, I'm like in favor of just finishing it off, or finishing the split off. Um but if playoffs, if like we wanted like a more or like a higher like production for playoffs or anything like that, like I'm fine with like maybe like chilling for a bit for
Mm.
playoffs once like once the split is finished, because playoffs is so important, so you definitely want like the best possible like product to come out of it.
Sure.
Um yeah, and I do think like that I think one of the reasons why there was such like a high like favor for canceling the split might be just because a lot of teams are just trolling the split. So I feel like if you're like trolling, or this and the split's not going well for you, you probably just rather cancel it, because at least you can like have a better chance next time,
Yeah.
so
When you say trolling, you don't necessarily mean, like they're not trying. It's just like they're struggling or not doing well or whatever. So it's like, why not just just skip to summer?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though 100 Thieves we're like in the fray as well. We're in the middle of all the standings. Um, I do think that like um we're still like really confident in the way we practice and in the way that we're playing the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're pretty comfortable like just playing it out.
Okay. Hey, let's end on a lighter note. Do you want to tell me what that poster is that's behind you?
Oh, sure, yeah. That poster is I think we had like an art contest in spring when 100 Thieves were the top dogs. And um that's the poster that like I think Papa Smithy kept when he joined the team, because they were just gonna throw out, or I'm not sure if I should say this, but they were just gonna like, yeah, kind of get rid of like all the art from back then. And then Papa Smithy thought that that it was a pretty sick poster, so he wanted to keep it, and he gave it to me. So yeah, I just put it on the wall.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Yeah, I think for all the fans watching at home, um, the LCS being played remote is definitely not the ideal situation for the players, for the teams, for the fans. Um, but I'm still glad that I'm able to keep playing, to have a reason to practice hard in scrims or in solo queue, because of the LCS matches on the weekend. And hopefully everyone that's watching at home, um, because I'm pretty sure like most people are like doing the social distancing thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, hopefully having LCS is another reason to just not just stay in bed all day and just just mope because of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'm pretty confident that as long as we take care of ourselves and take the proper precautions, that we're gonna be able to come out of this situation, you know like unharmed, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much, Cody, for the interview. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this, especially I know it's weird for all the pro players doing this, and so people taking their time to talk to me after the games from their homes. So it's quite nice. So thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else,
Yeah.
you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching that video. You know, we're at home right now. We're all at home. And I just want to say thank you to my sponsors for sticking through with me as we are in a very different type of esports, an older version of esports than right now. One of the sponsors is Movement, who makes a bunch of cool stuff, watches, glasses, all kinds of accessories for men and women. They've been with me for quite some time now, and I love it if you guys could help me out by just going and clicking the link in the description. That actually does help out a lot. You know, trying to make sure that we're still able to provide a lot of value to our sponsors as we shift to this online working from home version of LCS. So either way, thank you so much to Movement. You can check them in the link in the video description below, and there's a way to save some money if you do that. Also, shout out to Alienware for supporting everything that I do. Thank you so much to our sponsors.